Hello, this is Ségolène King from the Cosmosis Mentoring Center. Today I would like to speak to you about the Divine Feminine, Sacred Feminine, the Goddess. It's a very popular subject these days. There are many women across the planet that are starting to feel the need to reconnect with these energies, these feminine energies. And there are, as a result, a lot of groups that gather regularly to have a focus on empowering women. This is a result of many centuries of the feminine energies and women being quite repressed in the various societies that we have on this planet. Now, for millennia now, really, women have been put down and considered to be subservient and less than men. We have grown into a world made of patriarchal societies for the most part, and some of the last more equal societies in the world, such as the Native American Indian, for instance, were ravaged some few centuries ago as part of the Western culture invading their land. So really, women have felt a sense of disconnection and disrespect, I suppose, with those energies of the sacred feminine for a long time. For instance, in the church, women have not been able to hold high-level offices, have not been able to be priests or cardinals or popes, and there are many religions where that is the case, where women have a very particular place and niche within a particular religion, which is not very often about holding power in any way, shape or form. That's not the case everywhere, it's not always that way, but often enough it is in the Western culture and patriarchal societies, as well as patriarchal religions. Now, with the changes that are happening as a result of the suffragette movement, for instance, and many women fighting for equality of women in society, there have been a lot of changes over the last century or two, so that women could have equal access to careers and jobs and money and positions in politics and business and leadership in various areas of society. So women really have been able to grow into more independence and more strength. However, one of the downsides of these changes is that because women carry a lot of wounding from so many centuries of repression of the feminine energies, there has been some imbalances in how these rights have been achieved and grasped, in that women have felt for some time now that in order to go out into the world and be a successful manager and leader and business person, you have to kind of become a bit more masculine-like and deny some of the wonderful qualities of the feminine, such as softness and compassion and kindness and the ability to create relationship. All of that is really quite particular to a feminine energy, and both men and women are able to work with those energies. Unfortunately, these qualities such as compassion, kindness, have not been valued as much in our patriarchal societies as qualities such as courage and strength and perseverance, which are more masculine qualities. So it is time for a healing and a balancing and a harmonizing to happen between the forces of the masculine and the forces of the feminine. And this is slowly happening, and there are many groups of women and even some men's group that are really searching for this and asking for this and engaging in activities to find that reconnection and that balance within themselves and within their connection to the world around them. Now, we are at a point in history in our planet where, in order to move forward, we need to not only seek the rebalancing of these energies of masculine and feminine, but also heal a lot of the wounding and the hurts and the scars from so many centuries of imbalance. Now, these imbalances have affected not just women, but men as well. Women have really felt it a lot in terms of feeling less than, feeling victimized, feeling powerless, feeling that the only way that they can hold power in their environment is by using emotional blackmail and manipulation of the man in their surroundings. Often, sometimes it is done through using their feminine wiles and their seductiveness. And you see a lot of women out there just not knowing how to wield their power, not knowing even where their power is. And so resorting to their powers of seduction, their sexuality, or hiding behind a more masculine stance in order to try to find their place in the world. And that is not really the most harmonious and healthy way to do it. So the only way to really encourage women to find their own unique place within this planet, to find how they can bring a woman's touch into a man's world, so that this world is no longer a man's world but a man and a woman's world. For this to be able to happen, women need to heal and need to let go of all the baggage from the past that we collectively as a race have been carrying and have been experiencing. Now for men, the healing happens a lot in terms of healing that connection to those feminine qualities within themselves. Men often cut themselves off from those most feminine qualities at a really young age. They don't want to be perceived as sissies or mama's boys. They want to be tough. They want to go out there with their dad and go on adventures, and they want to be perceived as tough and strong by their little friends. And so often in that quest to be part of the male pack and to perhaps be the alpha male in the tribe, little boys can often kind of push away and repress those feminine qualities such as nurture and compassion and the ability to really engage deeply with feeling and being receptive and being able to listen and to really sit with emotions and to express those emotions. These are often qualities which are lacking in men, but in women too. There has been just generally in our society, as part of the repression of the feminine, a disconnection with feeling. We are a lot more comfortable with thinking rather than feeling, a lot more comfortable with the mind rather than the heart. And this has really been part of this imbalance, just one of the many expressions of this imbalance and this repression. So part of the healing is also reclaiming our connection with the heart and with feeling. Crucial. Without feeling, there is no healing. You cannot heal the wounds of the past, the hurts and the emotional baggage that you carry without engaging in feeling. You can think all you want, you can have all the positive thoughts in the world. If you're not able to get those feelings flowing and release them, you won't be able to heal. So it is very, very important that we reclaim those feminine qualities and our reconnection with the sacred feminine. Another consequence of our disconnection with the sacred feminine has been our disconnection with the planet, of course. The environment is in dire straits, as we all know. And this is one of the many symptoms of a masculine that is not tempered by the presence of the feminine. When the masculine is not balanced and tempered by the feminine, it just runs a bit too far with itself. And some of these qualities such as courage and that warrior-like attitude, which is a wonderful thing, that warrior-like attitude, it is very much needed to stand against evil, to create change and make the change happen, to accomplish goals and do wonderful things in the world. But when it's out of balance, it becomes destructive. And this is not to blame the masculine over the feminine. There's no blame or judgment that needs to come into play here. All it's going to do, blame and judgment, is continue the problems. It's just about understanding the dynamics of how it works. And so with this masculine way out of balance, we have started to be destructive of our environment. We do not have that respect for the earth and that sense of community and relating with all of the aspects of our environment, and we do not have that ability to stay connected with our heart and how that connects us with the presence of the feminine in nature. The feminine spirit is present all around us. It is part of nature, it is part of this body, it is part of the air, it is part of the light that you see. you don't need to go anywhere or call from anywhere to connect with the goddess energies. You just have to connect with the sacredness of the love and nurture and wisdom that is right here within you and around you. There's no need to go anywhere. There's no need to do or be anything else. You just have to open up and let go of the disconnection and start to reconnect right here, right now. When you start to engage on the path of working with the sacred feminine and healing these wonderful scars from the journey within yourself, there are 3 different aspects to working with these energies. The first aspect is to reconnect with ourselves. So for women, it will be reconnecting with what it is to be a woman, with that essence and presence, and through that reconnected with that connection with the sacred feminine that we all carry in our center, in our hearts. And that's very crucial, and that's probably one of the most important aspects of this journey. And if you don't do any other parts of these studies, do this one, because you are at the center of your world. And if you're not together, if you're not clearing your own fear and self-imposed limitations, you're not going to be able to really work efficiently and with clarity with the other aspects of the journey. So that's really the first and foremost aspect of working with those with the sacred feminine. Reconnect with yourself, redefine what it is to be a woman, and reconnect with that part of you that is connected to that infinite eternal spirit of the feminine, of the goddess within you. And we all carry that. You don't need a priestess or anyone telling you that you can't do that by yourself. You can reconnect by yourself. Of course, part of the journey is sometimes to walk with a teacher, to walk side by side with a teacher that's going to help you to see more how you can do it, and how you can unravel all the fears and beliefs and wounds that get in the way of you truly connecting with the sacred feminine within you, and to really flourish within your femininity. Now, that teacher needs to have demonstrated that they are walking the talk of what they preach. They need to probably be 1 or 2 steps ahead of you so that they can offer some of their wisdom back to you. And so just be discerning when you choose to work with someone to assist you on that journey, that this person is really demonstrating all the wonderful qualities of the feminine, such as compassion and kindness and nurture and love and wisdom, a very solid wisdom, and as well as a feminine strength that is also very important. The feminine is not all just fluffy energy. There can be real power and real strength here, but it is all based in love and wisdom, all of it. So if you're seeing a person that wants to teach this material, wants to teach this process of working with the goddess, but is really engaging in a lot of anger and competitiveness and sense of glamour and importance, then that's probably not the wisest teacher that you can choose. Really, humility is always a key ingredient of a soul that's achieved a certain level of actualization. And so anyone who likes to feel very important, being some great priestess of this or that, just have your discernment there. It doesn't mean that they're not necessarily great, but if they make grand claims around it and are very attached to those roles, it might not be the clearest teacher that you can find. So just stay with your heart, stay in discernment, and use your own wisdom as best as you can to choose who can walk side by side with you to assist you to do that healing and that journey and that unraveling into the feminine mysteries. For men, that process is a lot more about healing that disconnection with their own feminine aspects, which in time also ripples out to affect their relationship with women. And any man who has a lot of wounding around the women in their lives, be it their mothers, sisters, partners, friends, and who has really a lot of anger or resentment or fear or sadness around the feminine, or men who have problems getting in touch with their feelings, with their ability to nurture, to be compassionate, all of that, that is a really wonderful journey to undertake for a man, to start working with the feminine. And I know a lot of men are not really keen on that, But if you're not keen on it, it probably shows that you have some resistance. And if you have some resistance to it, that probably shows that there are a few issues there that could benefit from working with those energies. So both men and women really need to do a lot of healing here. Women have the potential to be wonderful representatives of the goddess, but to really do justice to that, you need to work at it. You cannot just call yourself a goddess or a representative of the goddess and carry on like a child, having tantrums and projecting and manipulating and being angry and being unkind, all of these things. If you're not walking the talk of what it is to embody those energies as best as possible in mastery and in wisdom, then it's a bit of an insult, really, calling yourself a goddess or a representative of the goddess. So, like anything in this world, if it was easy to walk the talk of achieving high levels of actualization of the goddess energy and hold the presence of the sacred feminine, everybody could do it. It's not easy. It needs work, it needs healing, it needs letting go, and it needs learning and unraveling into these wonderful mysteries of the feminine. So the first aspect is that working within yourself, reclaiming the wonder and beauty of what you can be as a man or as a woman, reconnecting with the feminine qualities and your connection with the goddess, which happens within you through your heart and center. And letting that ripple into your life, your behaviors, your attitudes, your relationship, and walking the talk of that. Another aspect of walking the path of the goddess is the earth mysteries. That's also an important part of the journey. For a long time, women's bodies have been judged and perceived as being sinful. Once again, the impact of patriarchal societies and patriarchal religions have a lot to do here. And as I mentioned before, the connection that we lost with the feminine has also caused us to have a disconnection with our Mother Earth planet. Mother Earth is the mother of our body. Like literally, our body is made out of matter from the body of Mother Earth. We are all her children on the human level. The Mother Earth is not the mother of our spirit, and that is something I will talk about a bit later. So reconnecting with Mother Earth is a very important aspect of reconnecting with our bodies and our sexuality and the sacredness of this physical temple that we all wear and express through and experience human life through. The earth mysteries are wonderful things, and there are actually a lot of groups out there that work with reconnecting with the earth mysteries. That's something that was very popular in ancient times, a long time ago, when we had more matriarchally based societies where women and the process of procreation and birthing and caring for children was revered and respected for the wonderful sacred event that it is, rather than being perceived like an illness or a medical intervention as it often is these days. When in those early societies and civilizations the mystery of birth was perceived for the wonderful sacred transition from non-existing to existing, from not being born to suddenly being alive in the world, they lived in a very different time and a very different relationship with nature. People in those early civilizations understood the relationship that we have with our environment, the relationship between all life around us and the life within us. The process of hunting to eat was respected, and the soul of the animal that was killed in order for us to eat was honored and thanked for its gift of life to sustain us. The plant kingdom, the plants around us, were recognized to have sentience and consciousness and energy to them. They were not considered to just be things that you can rip and cut and kill, but to be actually living creatures, living plants. And the relationship with all of life on our planet was a lot healthier. We had a different relationship with our bodies and a different relationship with nature, and that's a very important aspect of reconnecting with our bodies and with the planet that we stand on. if we're not at harmony with our environment, we're not truly ever going to be in harmony with our life. So that's also an important aspect. A lot of the work involved reconnecting with the cycles of nature and tuning in a lot more with the natural forces, tuning in with nature, appreciating nature, working with the cycles of the moon, especially for women, since our menstrual cycle are connected with the cycles of the moon, working with the elements. It's quite an extensive journey in itself if you really want to do it properly. There's a lot of groups around the planet that focus on the ritual aspect of this, and ritual can be a wonderful tool to help create sacred space and create a means of reconnecting with nature and having that sense of being part of nature. Ritual is not necessary, it's just a wonderful tool that you can use. When you really go deep into the feminine earth mysteries, the whole process of this part of the journey becomes more and more spiritual and more about a sense of oneness with the earth herself. And as you really grow into the earth mysteries, you need to really grow with a third aspect of the journey with the sacred feminine, which is working with the universal mother energy. As I mentioned before, Mother Earth is the mother of our body, of the human body part of us, and Mother Universe, the universal mother, which is this huge all-encompassing spirit that is part of everything in all of creation, and that is the source of everything within creation. That is the mother of us as spiritual being. The spirits that we are her children. And so that's another aspect that I find is often forgotten in goddess work. I see a lot of the earth mysteries and women empowering themselves within society, but I don't really see as often working with the universal mother energy. Now, one possible reason for this is that to really start working with those energies of the universal mother, you really need to work on the other two aspects first. You really need to work on clearing your fear, clearing your baggage, healing your wounding, and to some degree reconnecting with the earth and the environment and the sacredness of living this way, to be able to then expand out into reconnecting with Mother Universe. I could discourse for a really long time about all the different qualities and aspects of the attitude that you need to embrace, and the journey and feelings and qualities that you need to practice and live by in order to start growing on this process. And this is all things that we teach at the Cosmosis Mentoring Center through the Feminine Source stream of study. And really I will just keep it in a nutshell here. So in order to really actualize deep into the Mother Earth mysteries, you have to start really growing into your connection with spirit. And as you start to grow into your connection with spirit, you start to also enter the part of the journey that is about reconnecting with Mother Universe. Now, all creation comes from source. Some people call it God, some people call it the universe, some people call it source. Let's call it source. Now, source, from which all life comes, has a balance of masculine and feminine. There's the one source, which then divides itself in two aspects that are two aspects within the unity of source. Now, these two aspects are a more masculine and a more feminine aspect, and these two aspects of source come together to create creation. Just like a man and a woman come together to create a child, procreation happens at that greater cosmic and universal level as well. Now, the more masculine aspect of source is actually force, and once again that's where you can get a sense of all these more masculine qualities, which are courage and strength and perseverance and yeah, that leadership, and it's a more transmittive kind of energy. It pushes evolution forward. It is like that impulse of movement, constantly moving and constantly going forward. The more feminine aspect of that source is source, and it is actually quite inert in itself. It is energy that just sits there. It's not a moving energy like the masculine aspect is. It is a more potential energy. It's like an infinite pool of potential. It is the void. It is the all that can be. It is just energy that's pure potential. It can be anything, it can become anything. It is the stuff of life. It is the fabric from which all of creation is made, but just by itself it isn't anything, and it cannot be anything. That's where the force energy of the masculine aspect comes in, and as they come together, the fabric of the feminine source energy comes together with the impetus of the masculine force energy, and together they go forth and something is created. And that's what we are all made of. As spiritual beings, we are the children of that creation. And so expanding into those mysteries is something that demands clarity and dedication, and quite a long time really, if you want to achieve the level of clarity where you become to build a relationship with those sacred energies and to unfold into these greater universal levels and open your awareness out to those greater levels. That is probably all I will say about this for today. So I'll just go back over the three main aspects of working with the sacred feminine. Relating with the sacred feminine within yourself, and using that process of reconnecting with that divine connection within yourself to heal and clear and let go of all the dysfunction, self-imposed limitations, the wounding that you carry, which are particular to the imbalance of the feminine and the repression of the feminine within you and within your behaviors and your activities in your life. There is a wonderful nurturing and healing quality that the feminine has, which is really lovely to experience at times in your life where you need that nurture and you need that healing, and you need to feel that cocoon of safety from the mother energy to be able to go through that healing and clearing process. The second aspect is the earth mysteries. This is about reconnecting with the balance of life and harmonizing our relationship with our environment and with our bodies, including our sexuality. There's a lot of wounding and fear in sexuality, a wonderful inheritance from many, many centuries of judgment and repression, particularly from certain religions. The third aspect is expanding out into working with the universal mother energy, which demands a certain amount of actualization and progress made in the other two areas, really, if you want to really start embracing those levels. I hope that was helpful to you. I hope that with the information I gave you today, you get a bit more of an insight into what you can get from working with sacred feminine studies and engaging with these processes and courses and journey of the goddess. Women are probably the main students that come to me interested in those services, but I have had some men who have asked for the help to work with reconnecting with their feelings, or being kinder, more nurturing to themselves, or healing certain things in their relationship with the women in their lives. The Cosmosis Mentoring Center offers a range of products and studies that is called Feminine Souls. There are different courses that you can take just individually. We have coaching programs as well, which are modular programs that we can pick and choose different aspects of the process that we can tailor to your needs. So let's say if you come to us and you want to work maybe for 6 weeks in order to solve some issues you have around sexuality, well, we have different online resources and courses that we can put together for you in order to really focus on your needs for healing and clearing and empowering of the feminine within you and in your life. We have just individual sessions if you want to just do sessions. I really head most of the services working with the feminine. So if you'd like to contact us, just check our website. I hope to hear from you soon at Feminine Source or at the Cosmosis Mentoring Center. Thanks again and keep on loving.